Hey, Coastline Small Groups. My name's Danny. I'm the worship apprentice here at Coastline, and I have the immense pleasure of leading us in this week of our deep dives. We've been going through a sermon series called Fully Alive, and we've talked about the power and hope that the resurrection of Jesus Christ brings. And this week, we're going to talk about the awe and wonder that he inspires in us. When we see what God has done, we stop seeking explanations and rather we start worshiping him and just basking in his glory because of how great he is. I'm going to share a little story about how I've experienced his beauty. I have been to Switzerland. It's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. I highly recommend if you ever get the chance. It is a little bit expensive, I will say that, but it's definitely worth the trip. And I remember I was in this little town called Interlaken, which translates to in between two lakes, because it is literally in between two massive lakes with mountains on either side. And I remember going to walk in this big square, in this big field in the middle of this town. It was late at night. I was just kind of going for a walk just to decompress. It had been a long day. And I remember just looking around at the beauty, at the mountains, the snow-covered mountains, seeing the water in the distance. And I couldn't help but feel God's wonder for God, wonder for his beauty, for his creation. It just was such a cool feeling. I remember it so vividly. I don't think I'm ever going to forget it. I was just so inspired by just the beauty of the Creator, right? We have a couple scriptures. Revelations 15, verse 4. I'm just going to open that up really quick if I can find it here. Revelations 15:4. Who will not fear you, Lord, and glorify your name? For you alone are holy. All nations will come and worship before you, for your righteous deeds have been revealed. We also have Job 36, verse 26. How great is God, beyond our understanding. The number of his years is past finding out. Yeah, guys, God's greatness is beyond our understanding. I heard this analogy one time of a baker and a cake. Science can explain how the cake was made, what went into the cake, even maybe when the cake was made, but only the baker can explain why he made the cake and who made the cake. Maybe when we're experiencing this slice of cake, we find a cherry in it and a blessing in our lives. It can relate, maybe even a Skittle. I don't know if you like Skittles. M&Ms, personally, my favorite. Just different blessings in this life that we live. So we get to experience this cake, this life, right? We may never know why, and we probably will never know why it was created, it was baked in the first place, but that's not for us to wonder. Like I said, the explanations stop becoming a necessity when we experience the wonder of God, when we get to indulge in this beautiful cake, this world that he created, right? When we realize he is infinite and we are finite, that can also begin to expand our view as well. When we realize that we're in this life, he is infinite, he is a God. We are mere humans, right? He created us. We may never understand why he created us, but we are allowed to live our lives in awe and wonder of him. Yeah, because God is eternal, he has no beginning, he has no end. And that's something that is really hard for me personally to wrap my mind around. But it's true. Since the beginning of time and since the end of time, he is eternal. He is infinite. Again, we are finite, right? We're never going to understand why the baker made the cake in the first place, but we get to experience the beauty and the majesty of this world that he created. So I have a question for you guys. Have you ever meditated on the power and the wonder of God before? Have you ever been in a position like I was in Switzerland where you just were surrounded maybe by his beauty and you just began to say, wow, God, you're so great. You're so worthy. Yeah. Have you ever just experienced the greatness of his goodness before? And then I have an application for you guys as well. If you have not, or even if you have, just take time during this week. I know I like to go on walks along the breakwater. I just love the sound of the ocean and the smell of the air. Just take time this week, just in a quiet spot, maybe in nature. Just experience, just be still for a minute, right? Just experience the beauty of his creation. There's so much beauty around us. We live in a city that is so, so beautiful, guys. I love Victoria personally. I was in Abbotsford for a year last year, and nothing against Abbotsford, but the more I was in Abbotsford, the more I realized, wow, Victoria is a really nice city to live in. So yeah, just take time during this week, find a spot. It could be in your house, doesn't have to be in nature. I highly recommend being in nature just because it's so much easier to see the magnitude of his beauty and his creation. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys this week. Thank you for listening. Hope the small group goes great, and I'll see you when I see you.